I'm supposed to read this. Is that what you want me to do?
Yeah.
Who's gonna call it to order? I call it this meeting to order.
Yeah, that'll be you.
Ready to break the internet.
Maybe Amanda will waltz in 1 minute, we'll see.
Well, while we're waiting for Amanda, would you like to all introduce yourself to the audience?
Hang on just 1 second.
Oh,
Service rules, yes, that is it.
Okay, about 30 seconds. Okay, stand by.
are there any? Are there any people on Zoom?
No, we do not have anyone registered for the meeting.
Thank you. So in place of Amanda for a moment, I'm Madeline White, Commissioner. And would you all introduce yourselves?
Yes, my name is Robert Almada. I'm the Chief of Police.
I'm Robert Hollis. I'm the Deputy Police Chief.
Lieutenant Shannon Barnes. Ilani Sue, Human Resources Director and Civil Service Chief Examiner.
And Mark Brown, a member of the commission.
We have decided to read the land acknowledgement. We, the city of Lacey, are on the ancestral land of the tribal people of the Treaty of Medicine Creek, including the Nisqually Indian Tribe and Squaxin Island Tribe. We acknowledge and remember those tribal people not recognized today who were absorbed or relocated into other tribes for survival. We recognize the ancestors and their descendants who are still here. We recognize and respect the tribal people of the Treaty of Medicine Creek as the traditional stewards of this land since time immemorial and their role today in taking care of these lands in perpetuity. We recognize and have the responsibility to call attention to the histories of dispossession, forced removal, and abridged treaty rights that allowed our nation, state, and city to develop as they have today. We recommend that community members read the Medicine Creek Treaty of 1854.
Move for approval of the agenda as printed and distributed.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Public comment?
Approval of the minutes.
I'm sorry.
Is that, I'm sorry.
Declare that the agenda has been approved.
Actually declare the agenda.
I declare the minutes approved as.
No, agenda
What?
first. Agenda. The agenda motion has been passed. You have to say that.
Okay, the agenda items have been passed.
And so the next item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the meeting of February 3rd. And Madam Chair, I move approval.
Second, and the minutes are approved as written. No public comment?
No, we have no one on remotely.
Thank you. Then, Chief Amada, you're on.
Very good. Thank you very much. So, we have no hiring information. The actual hiring portal has been closed since the end of December as public safety testing was doing a validation exercise of our written test, which we did indeed validate. And that's now been, the new written test has been put into service. The hiring portal was also being reviewed while we updated the job description of the HR. That process is being finished now, and the portal should be reopened either end of this week or the week after, next couple of weeks or so. So there's no real hiring data, but that's the status of it.
And I'm late.
Hi, y'all.
Go ahead. Chief Amada is up right now.
Excellent. Thank you very much for taking charge of the meeting, ma'am.
You're welcome.
Welcome.
Hi.
Moving on, we had a swearing in ceremony for Lieutenant Jamie Newcomb, which also led to the promotion of Sergeant Aaron Pruneda and the promotions of Corporal Jimmy Williams and Corporal John Kovias. I would note that Mayor Mack will be retiring end of this month, May 31st. He'll be recognized at tomorrow's city council meeting with a commendation. And we had one person separated from training during this past period for failure to meet standards. And that is my report.
Chief, I have a question if I may. Get transitioned here. Chief, have you or the deputy chief and or your lobbyist, Brian Enslow, reviewed the legislation that passed and the budget proviso that's now in the budget on the governor's desk that creates this new $100 million grant program for hiring new police officers? Have you had a chance to review that at all?
Yes.
Any promise in that for us?
No. To be frank, there are numerous stop gaps in that bill that prevents anyone from really actively being able to apply for that grant. It's based on training that hasn't been developed yet. It's based on a hiring or approval process that has yet to be determined. There's no funding aspect to the bill itself. It also requires a legislative process that has yet to be determined or designed and has been labeled as the lowest legislative priority. So the ability for anyone to apply for any part of that grant is effectively nil.
Even though there's $100 million in the proposed budget.
It's not funded. And hasn't been approved yet, but there's no active funding mechanism.
Really interesting.
Are
Okay,
there
thank
any
you.
other bills that may or may not affect you or the police department?
We're still reviewing them all. There was a very animated and diverse legislative process. I think over 600 bills were moved in and evaluated. An interesting note that when bills and legislation is proposed, they're just assumed to be constitutional. There's no constitutional review prior to that bill being evaluated or voted on. So it's only after the fact that constitutionality is actually evaluated once it's actually moved and approved by the legislature.
So it's approved before?
It's assumed to be constitutional by the members of the legislature, is my understanding. And it's only through a court process if someone decides to challenge the constitutionality of the bill or legislation.
Only in the state of Washington.
I can't speak to that.
Okay, are you taking over?
Well, actually, if you'd like to finish the meeting, you're doing a beautiful job. Thank you.
Mr. Hollis,
Nothing to add. Thank you.
Leilani.
Okay, so our first item to talk about is the appointment of the civil service examiner and secretary role to Arakal Uwang, who is our HR analyst that supports the police department. He's been in training as an HR analyst for the past almost year, and he will officially be a HR analyst on June 1st. So we would like to propose to promote him into this official role, having me switch over the duties to him. So by the August meeting, he would be that official title, and any exams, plans, or review of candidates for eligibility lists would transition to him as the date of his promotion, so June 1st.
Effective immediately?
Well, almost, it's May 5th, so June 1st is when he's promoted. I think we're gonna run our next set of oral boards at the end of this month or the first week of June. To side note to the chief's report out, we did get the postings up and running this past week, so we've got entries on the exam plan. I haven't checked the laterals, but they're both live again in the portal. So we will be running oral boards for hire at the end of the month. So I would like for him to take over that eligibility sign off on the next set of oral boards if the commission approves.
And then what will you do?
I will continue to be an HR director. Yeah, it's definitely, there's other things for me to be working on. But I will be here as backup in case he's gone. I can at least answer any questions, but he would be the official signator for all of our lists and the keeper of the rules moving forward.
So, Madam Chair, I'll move that the commission appoint Iraqi Uwang as the commission's civil service examiner secretary effective June 1st, 2025.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
It has been moved and approved that Iraqi Yuan.
Arapahoe Uwang.
Madam Chair, would you please call for the nays?
What?
The days?
Please call for the nays. I realize.
Oh, for the nays, call for the nays, like,
All those, all the nays? Then it has been approved.
Passed unanimously.
All right, Leilani.
civil service rules update. So, we've been working on review of the rehire provisions to be more clear, just in case I'm not here, Izzy's not here, and we have to answer questions on what is granted in rehire. So we've made some changes in the rules for your consideration. The other, small change we would like to discuss first is the date and time change in section 2. Due to some fun limitations with Zoom technology, we've been doing some workarounds to start at 12:15. But a lot of our meetings have moved to 12 on the hour. So we would like to propose that after our August meeting, assuming this is approved officially in August, the meetings would then start at 12 PM instead of 12:15. Moving forward from that date. And then the other changes that we are providing are down in, I'm scrolling down. The first one is a housekeeping change. There's a rule under eligibility lists that talks about the type of lists that we maintain, and we have one for each rank in our police department. We no longer, after 2025, have the rank of commander. So we're just making the update now. I did check in with our LPSMA union to make sure there's no questions or issues with that, but it is built into their CBA as well. So we are replacing commander with lieutenant. And that is why we're making that change. And then down in to the rehire section 4 of the leaves and resignation rule. The term reinstatement is being replaced with rehire, just to be clear, because there's other things that get implied with reinstatement when we're talking about our commissioned arbitration eligible staff. So rehire makes this more clear. And then we built in language to cover what is happening when it comes to benefits being reinstated. And this is just what was given to our 2 former rehires that we had in this past year. So adding in language that says the former employee shall have the pay and any benefits as required by law restored that were held upon separation. So for example, sick leave, if they had any sick leave left on the books. The longevity date will reflect the former service that accrued prior to separation, and the seniority date will be determined using the last period of unbroken time as a Lacey Police Department officer, minus the amount of time they were away from the city. The final sentence reads, the calculated longevity or years of service determination will be referenced with the current collective bargaining agreement vacation hours article to determine the restored vacation accrual. And I don't believe there are any further changes. Let me just verify. There's no other track change. Nope, that's it. So these would be, if approved in draft form, sent to our unions for review and then brought to you for formal approval in August, assuming there's no feedback.
Thank you. Any further? Amanda?
No, ma'am.
Then I adjourn this meeting.
Well,
Excuse me.
just have one item.
Oh, I have
If I may.
to, wait a minute. We need to approve the draft.
So I will move to approve the draft as presented by Ms. Sue.
Is there a second?
Yes.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All those against? It is approved.
I wanted to ask the 2 of you, something that I thought of, actually I saw something online and it triggered the thought. or the three commissioners, if they're interested, and I am, wondering if we might be able to do a ride-along. I know we do have people participate with our officers with ride-alongs, and so don't have any date or time frame in mind, but would you, if it's allowed, I'd like to do a ride-along.
We'd be happy to accommodate that.
So maybe you could just have the appropriate person reach out to me with an email and I can throw out some dates and stuff.
Are they always at night?
Have to guarantee it's a calm, quiet
Because I don't
night.
do night.
Now it's been Bruce.
I don't do nights.
Oh, I see.
I've done one right along
I mean-
with the police department.
Yeah.
The chief got it set up for me and it was during the day and it was very, very educational, very interesting. I would definitely encourage you two to try that.
Well, that's exactly what I thought. I haven't
It's
been
a
on a
wonderful
ride-along
experience.
since I was mayor, and I think we were in stagecoaches back then. That's so long ago, so I think I could
There's a buckboard in the
definitely
hallway.
benefit.
Board in the hallway.
You could probably get that
All right.
off the blocks, you put it out there, that'd be kind of.
Okay, is there anything else from anybody?
No, ma'am. Thank you for chairing the meeting.
You're welcome. Adjourned.
And our next meeting, though, will we
August.
be here at noon or do we start at 12?
Still at 12:15.
Okay.
12:15, but then,
Approve the
and
official
then next year.
November.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect, got it. All right.
Thank you, everybody.
Perfect.